Hello, my name is Angela and I help people overcome high functioning anxiety. So in this video, I just want to talk about why there seems to be so many more women now that are in their 40s that seem to be suffering from anxiety when they never felt like this before. They seem to get to sort of their 40s or, late 30s and all of a sudden seem to start getting these feelings and intrusive thoughts that they never had in their younger years. Now, this can often be made worse as you get to sort of the age where you're more sort of perimenopausal or actually menopausal due to the change in your hormones. Now, some women find that they can obviously go and get HRT and have their hormones balanced, but if you are perimenopausal or, you're not showing up when you go to the doctors as having an imbalance in hormone levels, it could be something else. Now, what that something else is down to the individual. Now, as a prime example of this, it can be, you were very busy in partying in your 20s, say in your early 30s, having children. You get to your 40s and perhaps you just start slowing down a bit. Or it could just be that you've just been so running at 100 miles an hour your whole life. And you get to the age that you are now. I'm mid-40s, I've had exactly the same thing and I've had to do a lot of work on my mindset. A lot of these feelings can be things that you've just never dealt with in your younger years because you were so busy having a career, busy bringing up children, like I said before. But they're all things that could have been bubbling away in the background, and this is the whole thing about the high functioning anxiety. Now, these feelings have probably always been there, but you just haven't really had the time or the space to be able to actually recognize that what you're feeling isn't how you should be feeling. And now there are ways that you can work to fix these problems. So as I said, if you are at menopausal age, the best thing to do, first of all, is to go to your doctors and get your hormone levels checked. But if, like me, they come back and there isn't actually anything there that turns up at the doctors, and they just send you away, what do you do then? I was having these feelings of complete anxiety, not being able to cope with my job. I've always had a high pressure job. I've always been able to cope with it, but it came to a point where I just felt like I was completely burnt out, which was very unusual for me. Now, that wasn't the only area of my life where I started noticing things that weren't exactly how they were before, but it was a good indicator that there was something wrong and there was something that I needed to deal with. Now, obviously, I went to the doctors, had my hormone levels checked, did everything that I would normally do, and I was sent away saying that everything was fine. What do you do then? But I'd also had a lot of change in my life at the time. A lot of realization and things that I wanted to change myself in the direction that my life was going, my relationships, and just how I wanted to live my life, basically. So that included me not wanting to drink alcohol anymore. So kind of a combination of getting to middle-aged as such and stopping drinking alcohol. They were quite big changes to somebody's life, somebody that's always used alcohol maybe to cope with things as well, which I had done. And as you get older, your coping mechanisms do change. Also, if you've never learned how to regulate your nervous system as well, this can also cause you issues in middle-aged life as well. Or perhaps you're finding that you're having more stressful events happening to you at the moment. That could also be a reason why you may start feeling slightly more anxious than you did before, or in my case, a lot more anxious. But then when I started doing some work with a therapist, I then ended up going back to some coping mechanisms that I'd been using that weren't very healthy at all and weren't moving me on and helping me with my nervous system and also with actually dealing and coping with things in a healthy way. So instead of dealing with problems in my younger years, I would probably use alcohol, recreational drugs, just things that you use to cope at the time because you don't know any better. When you look back at some of your life events that you've coped with in your younger years, how did you cope with them? Was it in a healthy way? Did you work through those feelings? Did you end up getting to a conclusion where that you could healthily move on, or did you just push those feelings down into your subconscious? And then there they are, bubbling away until something in your middle age happened, and all of a sudden it all blows up and you just don't know how to deal with it. And it can make you literally shut down. Call it burnout, call it high functioning anxiety, midlife crisis, call it what you want. It's basically things that you have not dealt with properly earlier on in your life. And if you don't start looking at what the causes of these issues are and start finding someone that can help you work through these problems, or even just looking for help watching videos like this, say, that can actually help you put your thoughts and feelings into some sort of order so that you can start working through them and that they don't bring you to this absolute, complete and utter burnout that so many women that I know have actually gone through. So if you can just start looking to the place that you'd like to get to, or that I wanted to get to, was just a place where that I could actually deal with these issues without having a complete and utter meltdown, and see the wood from the trees, basically be able to see events as they happen, work through them emotionally and physically, and be able to resolve issues without completely losing the plot. But also the other factors that people tend to like to overlook are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating a healthy diet? Are you getting enough exercise? Start there before you look at anything else. Get everything cleaned up. Like I say, your diet, exercise, sleep. Then go back from there. Once you get all that sorted, once you get to a base level, then you can start working from there. And again, go easy on yourself. You've probably been through a lot of change. You are getting to sort of, your children may be moving out, maybe going through sort of stressful relationship changes as well. So be easy on yourself. Make sure that you get your basic things cleaned up. Like I say, diet, exercise, sleep. Then once you've started on those sort of factors, then you can start looking at your subconscious and working on the unresolved trauma that you may have, and that may be causing this anxiety to bubble up now in your 40s rather than it did when you were younger. And also, don't be ashamed to be asking for help as well. Just because you've made it to your 40s, without having any mental health issues, and now you are, say, suffering, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Reach out, ask for help, and you can start working through these problems. You do not have to live with this. You can live a healthy life with healthy relationships with yourself and with others. It doesn't have to be hard work, but it does start with recognizing this and actually beginning the work on it yourself. If there are any other questions you have about anxiety in your 40s, please let me know in the comments or DM me. And if you'd like to work with me, please just book a free strategy call. The link is below in the description. Please also subscribe if you found this helpful. Thank you.